Warnia smiled slightly, stroked the blue silk between her ears, and said, "When I was young, I liked coming here the most. Back then, my father was busy with work, so my mother brought me here every day." As she said, she sighed a little sadly, and said, "At that time, my mother would drive with me, park the car in the same place, and then walk down the same stone steps, just like you just now, so cautiously taking my hand." Charlie nodded lightly. When he grew up in an orphanage, he often thought of his parents. When they were young, they were not as strong as they are now. Whenever they think that they would hide under the covers or cry in the corner. But after a long time, he gradually got used to it. The hard life at the beginning made him understand a lot of precious truths. For example, the deceased is dead, such as the sad things that happened in the past, let it pass quietly. At this time, Warnia sighed, "I went to my parents to sweep the grave this morning. I couldn't believe it. They have been away for more than 10 years. Everything from my childhood is still vivid in my eyes. There is an illusion that I feel like I am still alive when I am 8 or 9 years old." Charlie laughed at himself and sighed softly. "You can still go to sweep the graves of your parents. I don't know where my parents are buried now." "Huh?" Warnia asked in surprise, "Can't you find it? Or what happened back then?" Charlie smiled bitterly. "When my parents passed away, I was just 8 years old. At that time, I couldn't take care of myself. I didn't even know where to solve my full meal. I simply didn't have the ability to handle their funeral affairs. By the time it has not been found." After speaking, Charlie said again, "However, their ashes may have been taken back by the grandfather's family, but I am not sure about the details." Warnia couldn't help asking him, "Mr. Wade, do you still have relatives in this world?" Charlie nodded, "Yes, but I am not ready to see them yet." Warnia nodded lightly, blinked her beautiful eyelashes, and said, "Mr. Wade, let's take a walk along the river." "Okay." Charlie readily agreed, and walked side by side along the river with Warnia. Warnia smiled and said, "By the way, Mr. Wade, do you remember the first time we met?" Charlie smiled and said, "Of course, in Jiqingtang. My father-in-law accidentally broke one of your antique vases." Warnia nodded and said, "At that time, I was shocked by the way you repaired the vase. I thought, how could a young man master the lost repair skills? This person is too good, I said to myself. However, I never dreamed of it at that time. That's actually just the tip of the iceberg, Mr. Wade, and I didn't expect that you would help me so much." Charlie recalled the process of getting acquainted with Warnia, and felt it was really amazing. If he didn't go to Jiqingtang with Jacob at that time, he would naturally have no chance to get the 9 profound heavenly scriptures. If there is no 9 profound heavenly scriptures, then he is at best Mr. Charlie rather than the admired and famous Mr. Wade. In contrast, he still prefers the title of Mr. Wade, because Mr. Wade is a 4-character word, and he used his own strength to exchange it. As for Mr. Charlie, that is just his own life experience. The characters behind Mr. Charlie represented is not his own ability, but the ability of the family. Therefore, he felt that these were fate. He has a relationship with Warnia, and also with the 9 profound sky classics. So he said to Warnia with a serious face, "People say acquaintance is fate. In fact, many things are already destined in the dark." Warnia blushed, and asked in a low voice, "Mr. Wade, you mean that we two are destined to have a relationship, right?" "Yeah," Charlie said with a smile. "It takes 100 years to cultivate in the same boat, but the same boat is only the fate of acquaintance. From acquaintance to becoming a friend, how can you say it has 200 or 300 years of fate?" Warnia nodded lightly and said softly, "Mr. Wade, you always speak very mysteriously. Does an expert like you believe in fate and destiny?" Charlie smiled and said, "I didn't believe it before, but after something happened, I slowly began to believe it." As he said, Charlie waved his hand, "Don't talk about it anymore. I don't mean much. Tell me about you. You are now the patriarch of the Song family. What are your plans next?" Warnia said seriously, "I became the head of the family, and there are still many people who are not convinced. Therefore, I need a period of time to constantly consolidate my position as the head of the family, and then lead the family forward. If the family is under my leadership, I can have rapid development under the government. so that other family members can make more money, then I believe they will definitely support me. Charlie nodded slightly and said seriously, this idea of yours is right. For most people, they just want to make more money. After all, Charlie said again, now it is a good opportunity for the Song family. The Wu family is obviously not good enough. The status of the first family in Orus Hill has been vacated. I think now is a good opportunity for the Song family to rise. Warnya said, I also want to go out and run more during this period to see if I can expand the business of the Song family. It is best to find some new partners. Charlie asked, is there anything I can help with? If you need my help, you can just say it. Song Manting hurriedly said, Mr. Wade, you have helped me too much, saying that you can no longer help me. On the contrary, if you have anything useful to me in the future, please do not hesitate to speak. I really hopes to have the opportunity to repay your kindness. Charlie smiled and said, you don't have to always pay back to me. If I need your help in the future, I will definitely not be polite to you. Warnya nodded lightly and said, okay, Mr. Wade, I understand. Charlie hummed, Warnya, after you go back, just give that rejuvenating pill to your grandfather, he will be very happy. Warnya hurriedly said, I understand. Charlie smiled slightly, looked at the time and said, okay, it's getting late, let's go. I believe Mr. Song must be waiting for you to return now.